Now, developing standard costs. Now, we'll consider two elements. As I said before, standard costing as a subject will again be covered in the next section. We are doing section B now. It should be covered in another section on performance measurement. But let us look at developing two things we will just discuss quickly here. Developing standard for material cost and developing the standards for labor costs. Okay. When you have a material cost, what does this total material cost consist of? It consists of two elements. One is the price at which you buy, right? You set a standard that you are going to buy it at $20 per pound, and you buy it in actuality, maybe it costs you around $22. So then there is a variance. So this material cost is a function of the price as also the usage. Maybe from 100 pounds of material, I make 90 units. That is the standard. Whereas in reality, maybe by using 100, I'm able to make only 80 units. That means there is not a very efficient usage. There is more loss in material. There is a lot of loss in material. So when we are developing the material cost, there are two angles we see. Two things that we two factors, two components to the material cost. One is the price and one is how the way we use. What is required is the required quality of the material we need at the least cost. The price consists of the cost of procurement, okay, purchase price, the cost of purchasing, which normally the purchase department may be involved with. And when a price is set, the standard is set, they take into consideration things like the discounts, maybe the seasonal discount, bulk discount, etc., to arrive at the average material price being consumed during that period. So here responsibility is fixed for the price variance. For the price component, it is the purchase department which would be accountable. It is possible that a vendor list is maintained. Periodically, they are got in touch with to ensure that we are getting the required quality at the least cost. We are not saying the best quality. What is the quality? What is the kind of material that we need? Whether we are getting that at the least cost. The other one I said was usage. How are we using it? How much of loss is there? Is the loss much more? Why are we not efficient? Now, this usage may depend upon the equipment that we are using. A faulty equipment and not an equipment which is not of standard quality may result in greater material losses. It may depend upon the manufacturing process. It may depend upon the skill of the workers. More skilled the workers are, more productive they are, more efficiently they use the materials. It is quite possible. It may also depend upon the quality of raw material. Let us say we buy material at a lower cost in order to reduce the prices. Let us say the purchase department, the purchase manager here buys a lower quality of material. What happens? The advantage in price would be offset. The advantage in price would be offset by the usage, by the losses which are suffered while using the materials. So there are several factors which make up these two elements, the price and usage, which again goes to make up the material cost. It may also depend upon the material mix, which is so true. Sometimes when we make a product, maybe a product one is made up of material A, B and C, where the standard which is being proposed is 30, 30 and 40. But when we use, that's not how we have used. Maybe it's quite possible that we have used 20, 30 and 50. This combination is how we have particularly used or made this particular product. Is it possible? Do you understand, students? If I do that, change the mix, that also may result in a different material cost. The standard mix is different. Actual mix, if it is different, there would be a variance. So what did we say? When we develop material cost, it comprises of two elements. One is the price and one is the usage. The price, how is it? It's the cost of procurement, the purchase price. The purchase price at different times may be different. We may get discounts. These things must be factored in. Purchase department may be responsible for the purchasing of the thing, and normally a list of vendors, etc. is maintained so that we ensure that we get the required quality at the least cost. The other aspect is the usage. We want to improve productivity and minimize the material losses. However, the usage or the material losses may depend upon the manufacturing process, on the equipment which is being used, on the quality of the material, or maybe on the skill of the workers. At the same time, it may also depend upon the material mix, the ratio in which we are using the different raw materials in order to make our output, make our product. Similarly, labor cost also consists of two elements. Here, right, on one side you have the wage rate, and the other side, just like you have usage there, we call this labor efficiency. Wage rate, we want improved productivity so that we get least cost per unit. Mind you, sometimes we don't mind paying the labor little more and getting skilled workers. Why is that? When you are paying more, maybe per hour you are paying more, you might say the wage cost or the wage rate goes up. It goes up, but what you must understand is that instead of getting 10 units per hour, maybe you are getting 12 units per hour now. From one worker, if you get 2 units extra, maybe in an 8-hour a day, you are getting 16 units extra from, mind you, just one laborer. This is not only an advantage from the point of view of the labor cost, there are other costs. There are other fixed overheads, fixed costs. These also get spread over extra 16 units, larger number of units, and thus the per unit cost comes down for the product. Is it clear, students? So improve productivity. The objective is the least cost per unit. Of course, the rate will depend on what is the skill set which is required. It will depend upon the industry standards. If I pay much below the industry standards, I will not get good labor. If I offer something above the industry standards, I may be able to get the cream of the laborers, but mind you, I'll be paying more. It also depends on the availability and, of course, the productivity. How much can the productivity be enhanced and what is the net benefit? The efficiency of the laborers, what are the components for this? We need to train laborers, make them efficient. It may depend on the manufacturing process, on the skill of the workers. Also on, just like we said, material mix, it may depend upon the gang composition. What is the ratio of the skilled, semi-skilled workers, different kinds of workers. It may also depend upon the raw material. Sometimes the quality, the texture of the raw material may also affect the productivity or the efficiency. So, material cost, the two components are the price and the usage. Similarly, for labor cost, it is the wage rate and the labor efficiency. Let us understand something with an example. From the standard cost card of a company, it is observed that 1 unit of product A requires 2 pounds of raw material at the rate of $20 per pound, and it requires 2 labor hours at the standard rate of $5 per hour. In a particular month, 800 units of product A were produced, consuming 1650 pounds of material, all of which was purchased at 18 per pound and consuming 1800 hours of direct labor at the rate of 5.5 per hour. What is the standard cost, actual cost, and cost variance? What is the standard cost, students? Mind you, standard cost is actually the standard cost per unit of output for the output. The standard cost is the cost for the output. Standard cost is nothing but the cost for the output. I'm not writing per unit, it should be for the output. Standard cost is the cost for the output. Okay, so what is the output here? You have made 800 units of product A. So for 800 units, let us see what is the cost. 800 units, what is the standard cost? Standard cost says that 1 unit of product A requires 2 pounds of raw material at the rate of 20 per pound. So standard cost, if you take the material cost, right, should be how much? 2 pounds of material into $20. Yes or no for 1 unit. How many units am I talking about? I am talking of 800 units. Yes or no? So this would be the cost. How much is this? 32,000. 2 twos are 4, 8 twos are 32. This is the material cost, standard material cost. What about the labor cost? Similarly, the labor cost would be 2 labor hours at the standard rate of 2 hours at the rate of $5 per hour. Again for 800 units, therefore it should be 8,000 or 40,000 is my standard cost, total standard cost. Yes or no? Per unit cost is actually 2 twos of 4, that is 40 plus 5 twos are 10, that's equal to 50 per unit is my standard cost. So for 800 units, it is $40,000 is my standard cost. What is my actual cost? My actual cost of materials is 1650 pounds of material purchased at $18. At $18. How much is that, students? 1650 pounds into 18. I understand is 29,700. Is that right? 29,700. And what about the labor that you have? Consuming 1,800 labor hours at the rate of 5.5. 1,800 into 5.5 is that 9,900, giving us a total of 39,600. So actually there is, if I may say, the standard cost is 40,000, actual cost is 39,600, and variance is a favorable variance. Standard cost 40,000, actual cost 39,600. Therefore, what is the variance? A variance, a favorable variance, mind you, favorable variance of $400. $400. Actually, here if you notice, labor, there is an adverse variance, but material, there is a favorable variance. The actual material cost is lower than the standard cost. It's very favorable, but the actual labor cost is much higher than the standard cost. Yes or no? A neater presentation would be like this. Material 2 pounds at the rate of 20, 32 and 8, 20, 40,000, 39,600. This is a favorable variance and this is an adverse variance. Totally we got a favorable variance. Yes or no? It's probably because of the rate variance, because material variance, if you see, the standard was at the rate of 20, whereas here it was only 18. But as far as the labor rate was concerned, this is 5 per hour, but actually we spent 5.5 per hour, 0.5 more per hour. So the rate variance that is favorable and adverse. And of course, as far as the usage is concerned, we require 2 pounds. So 8 to 1600 was the standard, 1600, but we ended up consuming more. But because of the rate difference, we have a favorable variance. As far as the hours are concerned, it was supposed to be 2 hours. Again, 1600 hours was enough. But then we took 1800 hours. That also added to the unfavorable balance. The rate was more, as also the hours taken was also more. Do you understand, students? The cost for the standard cost for the actual output. We take the standard cost per unit and then find out what it would be for 800 units. Standard cost is for the actual output. Standard cost is for actual output. So I'm writing this like this: cost for actual output. Cost for actual